Sun Wukong, your watch has ended. We have a new Chinese folk hero. Song Yadong submits Deiveson Figueiredo in the second round by guillotine, and he avenges all of the losses for the Chinese on this card. I think they were like 0 for 6 or 0 for 5 going in this one, along with the no contest from Sumudaerji, which we'll talk about later. He avenged all of that. He's a fucking Chinese folk hero. And Song Yadong, listen, if you had to watch 5 rounds... If we had to watch 5 rounds of Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo, doing nothing at range, flicking calf kicks, the occasional Figgy shooting a takedown, or, body kick, this would be the worst fight of all time. Now, thank goodness Song Yadong put us out of our misery, and we didn't have to watch this anymore, because I was kind of getting worried that we were going to get 5 rounds of just fucking doing nothing at range. Song Yadong was doing a nice job early, again, with the calf kicks, stuffing takedowns. It was a little bit of a ole fest pretty on early in this fight. And second round kind of comes along, and Figgy, I think, was kind of, he was trying to work more takedowns, couldn't really get anything going. Song Yadong started to kind of let his hands go a little bit more, and Figgy landed a takedown on Song Yadong at the end of that second round, went straight into a guillotine, and the fight was fucking over. I think Deiveson Figueiredo just wanted to go home. He should retire. I know a lot of people were saying, we need one more Deiveson Figueiredo Figgy masterclass. I think those days are over. I think the Montel Jackson is the last fight we're going to see him win in the UFC. I really do think it's over for him. I think at this point in Figgy's career, he should just be getting fed to prospects. That's what I would do with Figgy. I know you don't really want to risk seeing him get brutally slimed out, but I think that's on the horizon for him. I honestly think he should have retired after this fight. Song Yadong, give him Umar next. I think that makes the most sense. I don't really know why he didn't call him out and was like, I need to fight Peter Yan. I need to fight Peter. I shouldn't do fucking Chinese impression, but you want to fight Peter Yan. Everybody wants to fight Piotr Yan. He's the fucking champion. Call it Umar. That makes sense. Again, this win does nothing for me in terms of how I think about Song Yadong. He is what he is. He's good and he's not getting any better. That's how you describe Song Yadong. Figgy, it is over for you. I'll never forget the fucking run at flyweight. But again, there's not really much to say about this because not much happened. It was so boring. Song Yadong wins by guillotine. I think that was his first submission victory in the UFC. Since I believe either his debut or 9 years ago, which is kind of crazy he's been in the UFC for that long. But either way, I wonder what the fucking odds were on a Song Yadong by submission in this one. And people were saying, oh, this fight's going to go to decision. I mean, they were saying Song Yadong was going to win, obviously. I was so sure that Figgy was going to get finished in this fight. I was like, Song Yadong at one point is just going to be aggressive or something dumb happens and he'll find a way to finish. I didn't think it'd be a submission. I figured he would just catch Figgy. Either way, good win for Song Yadong, takes care of business. It was a pretty bad night for the Chinese before this fight, and Song Yadong honored the Chinese people. I think we should still do a China versus India card to kind of decide who the worst race is that fights in the UFC. But either way, good win for Song Yadong. He is now a Chinese folk hero, and the fucking entrance music, that Chinese Star Wars music, was fucking sick. Moving down to a pathetic performance from a Chinese person. The rest of this breakdown is going to be a lot of dumping on the Chinese fighter. Mingyang Zhang loses to Alonzo Menifield, and I really didn't see this one coming because I don't really think Alonzo Menifield is that good. I think he's good at beating guys who aren't really top 15 caliber, and I kind of figured Zhang, this guy's kind of top 15 caliber. I thought he was better than Alonzo Menifield. And I was proven wrong early on. Menifield's flicking calf kicks, landing really nice shots on Zhang early where he's, sitting down and just swinging wildly. They were kind of getting into the clinch along the fence for a little bit. I kind of just kept telling myself, why is Zhang Mingyang not just breaking off the fence and landing elbows? That's one of his real skills. And he ended up reversing position, landed a lot of nice knees to the body on Alonzo Menifield. Once they break off, Alonzo Menifield is just back, sitting on punches, landing really big, hurting Zhang Mingyang. They get back to the fence. Zhang lands a nasty elbow that clearly hurt Alonzo Menifield and fucking does nothing with it. Alonzo they break off Alonzo Menifield, fights back, swings, drops him fucking bad along the fence and finishes him. China's terrible. It's so bad how bad the Chinese are. They have no clue how to fight. They're terrible. Outside of Song Yadong and Wei Li, this country is garbage. And Yao Ming, those are the only good athletes from China. Everybody else sucks. It was embarrassing from Zhang, but it really goes to show you how shit 205 is. And this isn't to put down Alonzo Menifield's performance because he did a good job. I don't know, accepting a bar fight with Zhang and not being afraid to get hit while also delivering punches back. But just pathetic. 205 is a shit division. Really goes to show you how low level some of these guys are. You know, in the back part of these rankings. Alonzo Menifield, he'll get somebody in the top 10. Good win for him, though. Nice bounce back after losing Volkanovski. I kind of thought his career's kind of done. He's old. Zhang, I mean, you know, he was kind of hyped up as the Chinese super soldier mutant, and he just isn't that good, clearly. You know, you get fraud checked by Johnny Walker. That's one thing Johnny Walker can randomly lock in. To lose to Alonzo Menifield in the fashion that you did, where you couldn't capitalize on rocking this guy with an elbow, and you essentially just got punched in the face for 5 minutes. Whatever. A good win for Alonzo Menifield. Really ugly loss for Zhang Mingyang. And then moving down to Sergei Pavlovich versus Tallison Teixeira. This was so satisfying, and you knew it was gonna fucking happen. Sergei Pavlovich is fucking back. He's my fucking hero. Just runs through and destroys Tallison Teixeira. Big right, wobbled him. Another right clips him, and then he follows up and puts him down against the fence. He's a hero. Tallison Teixeira, I don't know why he got this fight. I think this was doing an incredible disservice to Tallison, who I don't think is good by any means. I think the guy really is he's just not a good UFC fighter. But it's also heavyweight. I know heavyweight's been improving, but Tallison Teixeira should have been getting, like, somebody in the he should have been getting a top 3, top 5 guy in Sergei Pavlovich, who's legitimately good. There's not that many guys who I'm like, that's a legitimately good fighter. Tallison Teixeira should have been getting a guy who, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out names like a Derek Lewis. He fucking got knocked out by Derek Lewis. I'm just saying, like, those caliber of fighters where they're not really that good, and, you know, he can beat these guys. Like, again, the Tuivasas, the Mick Parkins, you know, those guys of the world where that's who Tallison Teixeira should be fighting. He needs to learn how to actually use his size. He's such a freak. I mean, he's 6'7", 6'8", with a massive reach, and he doesn't fight like a guy who is as tall as he is and as long as he is. He doesn't really fight behind a jab or any of his kicks at all. Doesn't use his length whatsoever. He needs to learn how to fight as a giant human, because I don't know what he's doing. He just stands so fucking straight up and just gets clipped by anybody who's actually good. Tuivasa would have fucking finished this guy. Either way, Tallison Teixeira gets bombed. Sergey, I mean, he's calling for Aspinall. He won't get Aspinall, or not Aspinall, Ciryl versus Pereira. He wants the belt next. He should just fight the loser of Alex Perez versus Ciryl. I don't really know if Alex Pereira would even... I don't even know what Alex Pereira does if he loses to Ciryl. He should honestly just retire. Like, in my opinion, I don't really want him to stick... Like, just whatever. I'm not thinking about fucking Alex Pereira versus Ciryl right now. Either way, Sergei Pavlovich should kind of fight somebody in there. Ciryl poking Tom Aspinall in the eye really fucked over the entire timeline of, like, shit that you could do in the heavyweight division. Everything would be so nice if Ciryl didn't poke Tom Aspinall and he got knocked the fuck out, and then we could give him, like, Pavlovich versus Gane, or, you know, Volkov, you know what I mean, Aspinall versus Pereira on the White House, Volkov somewhere in there. You know, there's a lot of things that'd be settled if Ciryl didn't fucking exist. Fuck Ciryl. There's always an necessary Ciryl ran in any video, because you just get me going on him. But whatever. Moving down to Asakura versus Cameron Smotherman. The funny thing was, I was thinking, I should just pick Asakura by TKO. I think he's going to bounce back. But there was a part of me that was like, there's just such a bad, like, the patchy mix thing leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And then Asakura also just losing to Tim Out. Like, you know what I mean? Just these guys who are so hyped up. I just forever am just scarred by things like that. So I was like, I'll just pick him by decision. I think he's going to win. But I wasn't super confident at Cal. Either way, looked really sharp in this one. Looks a lot better at bantamweight. You know, nice leg kicks early. Just looks so much faster than Cameron Smotherman. Was leading that land hook really well. Dropped Cameron Smotherman really bad with a right hand when he switched stances, and then just fucking put him out cold against the fence with a big left hook. Maybe this move to bantamweight, which is his natural weight class, will start the Asakura title run, because he's always going to be a big name, even if he's losing fights. Now, the Smotherman fight was a layup for him. I don't really know what's next for him, because, again, a lot of the, like, high-level unranked bantamweights, like the Ethan Ewings, I know Basharat's what are 15th or 16th. Like, I don't think he's better than those guys, but he's going to get another high-level matchup. I wouldn't even be shocked if they gave him somebody else in the fucking rankings, you know what I mean? Because Asakura, this is a dude who fought for belt. He's a massive star in Japan. I think you just got to keep giving this guy, you know, names at least to turn people in. He got his bounce back against Cameron Smotherman. I think he's going to do a lot better at bantamweight. I'm kind of excited to see him versus maybe a grappler again, to see, is this grappling still shit? It probably is. It probably still is shit. but he's got to prove it eventually. I mean, they can't, you know, I don't know how many more layups he'll get after this Smotherman fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he got another fairly winnable matchup, which I wouldn't be mad at. I want to keep building Kai Asakura up, but I want him to kind of stay around in the UFC because I like Kai Asakura. You know I kind of trolled on Ryzen fans in the last video for being like, this guy, Kai Asakura, he's different, man. He's a different level. He knocked out Ash Ketchum and Professor Oak and Charizard over in Ryzen in Japan. He did beat a lot of legit guys in Japan. I just wanted to make a stupid joke. Either way, Kai Asakura, really nasty knockout over Cameron Smotherman. Then you got Jake Matthews versus Charleston Chew, Carlston Harrison. Jake Matthews should have got a finish in this fight. And this is the average Jake Matthews performance where he kind of comes in here, he looks like a world beater against a guy who really isn't that good in Carlston Harris. And he should have finished him. I mean, there was a point, I believe in the second or third round, where he clipped Carlston Harris so bad. Carlston Harris head slammed straight on the fucking canvas and Jake Matthews couldn't get a finish. I don't know why he's so, like, insistent on grappling in some of these fights. I know he has good grappling, but it's like, you can obviously beat this guy up on the feet with your boxing, and you don't really do it. I mean, Carlston Harris, the whole fight, is just gesture maxing, striking-wise. Just doing nothing. Matthews looked a lot cleaner in the boxing, wild with Carlston Harris a few times that first round. Don't know how Carlston Harris survived. Second round was Jake Matthews kind of just staying on top of Carlston Harris after he shot a takedown. And the third round was kind of that one where he, fucking dropped him pretty badly. And there was a 30-25 on a scorecard. You could give 2 10-8s. I don't really know. This fight was whatever. Again, average Jake Matthews fight where he looks like a world beater against a guy who just really isn't that good. And I like Jake Matthews. I've tried to push this guy into the rankings so many times, and he just can't get through it. Now, really, the star of the video is Alex Perez versus Sumudaerji, because I didn't really watch any of the prelims. This was the first fight I really watched in full. And the Sumudaerji pick looked fucking great to start off. But Alex Perez pulled off a Cody Garbrandt masterclass with the bucket there, was just spitting up saliva. I don't really know if he's acting, because you could, I'll give Alex Perez the benefit of the doubt here, where it's like you can get grazed by any kind of, any kick or flick to the balls, and you could be down for a while. I don't really want to shit on him too much for that. I also want to say just how bad is Charles Johnson, by the way, because he was not fighting intelligently, Joe Rogan. Alex Perez beat that dude's ass. But and one more point before I kind of get into just what actually was going on in the fight before the nut shot. This wouldn't have happened without steel. This wouldn't have happened if steel Muay Thai cups were in place. I mean, that's, Sumudaerji's foot would have broken, and Alex Perez would have gotten the TKO. So another win for the Joe Rogan crew. But listen, I thought, Sumudaerji was doing a nice job in this fight, defending takedowns, working behind his kicks, avoiding kind of the big shots of Alex Perez as he would blitz in and kind of try and find that overhand. Didn't really clip him that much with it. Round 2, he drops Perez with a 1-2, but couldn't really do much on top. The refs made him stand up for kind of an odd reason. It wasn't like he was doing a ton on the ground, but he was still there, and Alex Perez had been kind of rocked. It was a weird, stand up where Sumudaerji gets back up to his feet, and they don't even let, Sumudaerji, kick at his Alex Perez's legs or anything. That was a bit odd. But there was also the reason... I forgot to mention that first round. There was, a grazing eye poke, which was clearly an accident. Then the kick to the balls happens in the second round. The funniest part of all of this was watching the translator for Sumudaerji try and argue and vouch for Sumudaerji with the ref, which was pretty fucking hilarious. It was a fucking accident. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. It was pretty funny, but he didn't really talk like that. He sounded American. But I feel for Sumudaerji because he was looking good, and this fight should have got him into the rankings, because I think he would have ended up beating Alex Perez. I don't want to say Alex Perez is a quitter or anything. It's obviously not the best look, but tough outcome, because I think Sumudaerji would have won this one. It was looking sharp. It was kind of funny them trying to, figure out if this was going to be a no contest or a DQ. I kind of understand the point for a DQ in the sense of, you don't want these fouls to keep happening, and it's if you could just keep doing repeated fouls and don't get a disqualification on your record, then it's who really cares at that point? You just take a no contest and move on with the rest of your life. Either way, it was a good fight for a round and a half. You know what I mean? I thought Sumudaerji was on his path to victory. Now I'll talk kind of briefly about these prelims, because I didn't really watch. Luis Felipe Diaz versus Isak Lee. mostly striking that I saw, despite them both being grapplers. Felipe Diaz gets the finish there. Ding Mang versus Jose Sosa. I saw some stuff on Twitter about this one, about Souza, like, I don't know how he got 30-27s either. I kind of watched a little bit back of this fight, but he was acting on, like, the post-fight speech like he just fucking knocked out Ding Mang. I don't know. Cody Haddon, really impressive victory over Arichi Lang. I didn't really watch it a ton again. I was fucking asleep for this, but he had some really nice takedowns. I saw him have that really nice throw on Arichi Lang, got a finish. One more note on Cody Haddon. If you're begging for a bonus, and I'm not going to like say this is like, oh, Cody Haddon should be begging for a bonus. But when you're begging for a bonus because you have no money and like you're kind of trying to be like, Dana, please pay me. You haven't fought in 2 years. Not that that's necessarily his fault. I know he's been injured a bunch of times and that's kind of slowed down his career, but you're not getting a bonus when you're begging on the TV, on live TV, for fucking money. It's never going to happen and never works in the UFC. Good win for Cody Haddon though. Ray Saruya finishes Luis Gurule. Good win for him. Gurule didn't really fight the hands though. That seemed weird. I saw some people kind of trying to say this was rigged. I just don't think Luis Gurule is that good. Angela Hill getting 30-27 by Angela Hill in 2026. That requires like skill to do that. I don't know how that happens. Angela Hill fucking looking like Sugar Ray Leonard out there against Zhang Xingyang. Rodrigo Vera knocked out Zhu. And as predicted, Jacqueline Amorim just kind of smudged Loma Lukbune, which kind of sucks because I like Loma. She's got a fun style, but again, she just kind of gets destroyed by any women who are bigger than him. Good win for Jacqueline Amorim. Obviously, I kind of wish I watched all the prelims for this one because it seemed like a really fun card in totality, but the main card was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed waking up to kind of Alex Perez throwing up in a bucket against Sumudaerji. That was really funny. Again, he went full Garbrandt. You never go full Garbrandt, but credit to Cody Garbrandt because Cody Garbrandt's a fucking champion. He went back out there and threw 2 strikes against whatever that kid's name is. Not Rongzhu. Whoever that random Chinese fucking dude is. Either way, fun card. Good win for Song Yadong. Not that this card kind of had a ton of implications for the future of the UFC, but was fun nonetheless. Good fight night in Macau. If you're new here, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. The doctor is signing off.